All right. It's tough for Democrats. So they try to have it both ways on issues like redistricting, right? They like redistricting in states like California. They don't like redistricting when it happens in Texas, but they like it when it's happening in another blue state. And then when the issue goes all the way to the Supreme Court, different iteration of this, it's a disaster. And it's racist. The outcome, of course. The justice today heard oral arguments for Louisiana against Calais. It centers on a majority black district added in January 2024 to comply with Section 2 of the Federal Voting Rights Act. The issue is whether the state relied too heavily on race when redrawing this district. But why should you care about a district in one state? You might not live there. You think, oh, this is an esoteric conversation. Ingram, why are we even doing it tonight? Because whatever the court decides, it could determine who controls the majority in the midterms. Politico calling it a nightmare scenario for Democrats if the Supreme Court guts Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, because it could lead to as many as 19 seats going to Republicans. Well, it's no surprise at all that Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson went all in on using race.
My kind of paradigmatic example of this is something like the ADA. Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities. Congress said the facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities if readily possible. I guess I don't understand why that's not what's happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we are responding to current day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voting system, right? They're disabled.
So being black is the same as being disabled. And when Justice Sonia Sotomayor tried to argue in favor of these black congressional districts, well, you be the judge about whether it went over so well.
There's just no reason to assume that because there's a large Democratic population in Louisiana that doesn't have a district, that that's a racial reason rather than a partisan reason.
If you can't separate out the two, it's impossible.
But you can separate out the two. You can control for party, and you can require them to draw a map that meets the political objectives. And again, and the last thing that you said earlier, that means Section 2 has no effect. That's not true. The examples I gave you earlier about areas like Harlem and in Florida where you have of the same party and of the state that controls that party, differences in the races, that's where Section 2 does work.
You have proof of that here.
No, you don't. What you have here is that Republicans and Democrats are different. There's no...
You have some that even white Republicans or white Democrats won't vote for black candidates.
Right, but if these were white Democrats, there's no reason to think they would have a second district. None. And so what is happening here is their argument is because these Democrats happen to be black, they get a second district. If they were all white, we all agree they wouldn't get a second district. That is literally the definition of race subordinating traditional principles.
I'm not sure Justice Sotomayor even read the briefs in this case. I mean, did you read any of the briefs, any of it whatsoever? Luckily, my old boss, Justice Clarence Thomas, was there to get some actual answers, starting with the case that led to this entire thing.
What role did Robinson play in the development of SB 8?
Justice Thomas, Robinson is the only reason SB 8 exists. We fought tooth and nail in the Robinson litigation itself in telling the courts that we did not think the Constitution permitted us to draw a second majority black district. As you know, under protest, we drew SB 8 because the threat was that the federal courts were going to do it if we didn't. And that's, I mean, I think that's the best way to conceive of why SB 8 exists. We would never pass SB 8 in the first instance without Robinson, Justice Thomas.
What were the findings in Robinson?
The finding by the Middle District in Robinson was that the plaintiffs in this case were likely to show a violation of Section 2. That was the bottom line, and when our legislature saw that, we understood the marching order, and that's why you see SB 8 as it exists today.
Here to react, Missouri Senator Eric Schmitt. I mean, did you get continuing legal education credit for watching that, maybe. Eric? I'm not sure I was following that, but we'll see. What Justice Thomas was getting at, though, is that this district would not exist at all without the 2022 court case forcing it to happen.
Right. They had a 5-1 map the court then made them kind of go back and do a 4-2 map. And this case is a very important case because I think it'll come down 5-4, 6-3 just based on the alignment. But basically, you can't use race as a reason to have a congressional district. I mean, this sort of gets back to this very important idea in this country, just like you're not guaranteed the result of somebody who is of your race or of your religion. You vote in this representative republic for people. And I think the court is either going to strike down the Voting Rights Act or maybe a middle ground would be something.
No, the middle ground. You know what the middle ground always ends up doing? Creating more confusion and more litigation.
Well, right. But I think Roberts is that swing vote. But
Yeah.
he's already said in a previous case, in the Harvard case, we
Yeah.
need to stop divvying up this country by race. So I'm pretty confident that that the Voting Rights Act will probably be thrown out here.
So, but this has been used since I was a law clerk. It has been used as a cudgel,
Yeah.
a political cudgel, and yet lots of like Republicans or conservatives, they knew that this had to go, but a lot of them were afraid to kind of say it, right? Because they were, oh, if you say this, you're a racist. And no, it's a constitutional question.
Right. You shouldn't discriminate on the basis of race. And if you want to get rid of discrimination based on race, you should stop discriminating based on race. And I think that's what this case is going to come down to. But the Democrats know the reason why they're kicking and screaming here is they know it means potentially 19 seats are drawn like this, not to mention the 5 seats that were based on a fake algorithm during COVID to give them additional seats. So this
Look at that district. Look at that district.
Right.
Look at that screen right now. That is like an amoeba mixed with a bad virus, mixed with a Rorschach test. I don't know what that is.
So I think a lot of these kind of institutional ways that the Democrats protected these majorities, using race as that cudgel, are probably going to go away, and we're going to have districts that, again, are compliant with the constitutional principle that you shouldn't discriminate based on race.
Well, this idea that just merit is what matters. And
Right.
you want everyone to have equal opportunity. You want government or public schools to actually teach all kids and be competitive with other schools, and that's why school choice is good, so give kids a chance to learn. That's what brings people up from poverty or unfortunate circumstances, regardless of your race. But the Democrats fight those things that actually work. That's what's crazy.
They do, and you could hear by, Justice Jackson's completely bought into this critical race theory tenet, which is that only a black Democrat can represent black Americans.
That a white Democrat won't vote for a black candidate.
Right.
I mean, when I heard that, I was like, what?
Yeah, it again is...
Didn't Obama get elected twice? Like, what did I miss?
Right, it's this race essentialism that's
Yeah.
incredibly divisive in this country.
All right, Senator, great to see you, as always.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.